Hi everyone, Lisa here again with Ade.
Okay.
We wanted to talk to you today about our upcoming interactive series, Conscious Courageous Conversations, and really acknowledge, the piece of vulnerability that this brings up, because it's, you know, this isn't easy, and it is uncomfortable, and we understand that there's probably a lot of willingness, a lot of curiosity, but maybe some resistance in terms of jumping in with both feet into this work. But that's one of the reasons why it's so important, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Ada, you had a story that you wanted to share, something interesting that relates to this.
Yeah. I think that vulnerability piece is really crucial if we want to move into that domain of having conscious, courageous conversations. Um, I think of the definition by the researcher Brené Brown, where she talks about it as uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Those three things. Even just saying it out loud, I can feel my heart, beat slightly faster. Um, so I think about a conversation I had recently in a group that I was in, which was around race actually. So I was the only Black person in the group. And one of the things I'm very conscious of when I'm in groups is when I'm the minority, is sometimes I feel I can't bring my otherness to the group. I need to do my best to fit in, by not talking about certain parts of my identity or my human expression.
Yeah.
And for this particular group, I decided that I actually wanted to bring that otherness to the group. And so I remember taking a deep breath, noticing what was going on within my system, um, and consciously stepping into that domain and being very open in terms of what I was sharing. So using I statements, talking about my own experience, um, was really important to me. And I talked about being, that feeling of other, that feeling of other, what it felt like, what thoughts were associated with it when
Mm.
I allow myself to be in that space. And sometimes the behaviors that go with it as well. So there are times where I feel like I am the other, and it's almost like it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So my thoughts are, I don't belong here, I don't belong here. And thereby I might be closed in how I am being with the other person.
Right.
I might not be really listening to what they're saying. And then I end up being the other anyway because of the way that I've showed up in that space.
Yeah.
And it was really powerful because when I shared that, the others really listened and engaged, and others talked about their own experience of otherness. And where we got to was, it was about acknowledging the otherness and at the same time acknowledging the common humanity, as opposed to ignoring one or the other. And I think very often what can happen for me is I'm clinging on to the common humanity, the sameness, and ignoring the otherness. And so the conversation that I was having with this group was about, what can we do to bring everything into this space? And so when I think about conscious, courageous conversations, that's what comes to mind. It's not about sort of pushing the discomfort out of the way and coming to this place of, oh yes, we're all one and we all belong. And it's not about that. For me, it's about going into that, sacred space, that tender space, that brave space, meeting each other, listening to each other, and seeing what emerges from that. And that's where that risk comes in, that uncertainty
Yeah.
comes in, and that emotional exposure comes in.
Right.
And so the end result for me is this sense of freedom, authentic self-expression, of liberation. Really, really powerful. That messy middle needs to be entered into in order to know what's going to come out of it at the other end.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many good things come out of it, right? There so many powerful things are available on the other side, but stepping into that vulnerability is really uncomfortable. And yet, if I listen to this amazing story, it is equally rewarding. The discomfort is rewarded. you know I think that's just something so important. And this isn't about necessarily only learning how to speak out when you feel like the other, but it's the power of stepping into that vulnerability, of the discomfort, of the naming that discomfort, that's a specific piece in this interactive series, isn't it? The vulnerability and naming it, tuning into your own body awareness, what's here, and figuring out how to work with it, and how to show up with it in your own unique way, right? Yeah.
Definitely. Powerful
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And this is so much of why we would really love for you guys to join us in this interactive series starting on September 29th. Step into that resistance and discover what really beautiful, powerful things are on the other side of that vulnerability for yourself, and what gifts can be opened up through that. So please join us. We'd love to have you.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing you.